Hi, I'm Richard Pennington. What you just saw there was a Black Hawk helicopter. And if you can bear with me a few minutes, I'd like to tell you a little story that happened to me. It's been 17 years ago now, when I started as division director for the Colorado Division of Finance and Procurement. And it taught me a lot about teaming, professionalism, and ethics. And one of the things a state architect used to do every year was go out and look at the National Guard armories, check the conditions of the roofs, for example, and the general conditions of the facilities. He invited me to go along. National Guard had a built-in Uber, a helicopter. You know, the Black Hawk wasn't really built for comfort. This was the inside from the back looking forward into the cockpit area where the pilots sat. I was sitting on the back against the bulkhead to the rear in the left-hand seat. Next to me was somebody from the governor's office who had worked with the state architect on budget submissions, and he was in the back here with us also. We took off from Buckley Air Force Base, which is just east of Denver, to do a southern route along the Front Range of the Rockies. Beautiful, beautiful trip. We were headed to the southwest of Colorado, a place called Monte Vista that has an armory, and that would require us to go to the east of Pikes Peak and then turn southwesterly. So we're flying down the Front Range along the Rockies, down to Colorado Springs, enjoying the view, looking at the beautiful Broadmoor, which is just down to the right. I was looking up the front, and then I thought I saw a slight wiggle, something unusual, and then I saw the checklist being thrown by the crew chief in the gunner's door up front. And then I knew something was kind of wrong as we banked really steeply, started down. And I was scared. I had never been a fan of the physics of helicopters. I was a B-52 pilot in a prior life and had grown up flying Cessnas. And airplanes are given that name for a reason because they can actually glide. Helicopters, as near as I could tell, kind of drop out of the sky. We had banked. I couldn't see much out of my peripheral vision other than some of the treetops or the horizon starting to rise. I felt that feeling in my stomach, knowing that we were going down way too fast. I started thinking about the old days of my flight training. You know, I remember them to this day. In emergencies, maintain aircraft control, analyze the situation and take proper action, land as soon as conditions permit. Wondering what was happening in that cockpit. Then I felt that reassuring feeling as I started to get pressed down into the seat. We had touched down on the fairway, probably about a nice 9-iron shot from the 16th green at the Broadmoor Hotel Golf Course. And we were safe. I don't think we thought that morning when we got on the helicopter we were going to be getting off on a golf course. I remember being struck by the fact, one, that so many golf carts were coming out of the trees. They'd seen us go down. And the other thing that I was struck by was I watched the pilot who went up off the nose of the helicopter, and he had a cell phone. I saw him put it up to his ear, and he said this: "I'm not comfortable with that." I think he was talking to the command post. The command post would have been at Buckley. It would have been manned during the period that there were aircraft in the sky. No doubt they were anticipating some calls from maybe an irate course manager about what they were going to do about the helicopter that was on the fairway of the 16th green. I think later I heard that they were suggesting maybe he could take off and carry us to the airfield at Colorado Springs, about a 5 or 10 minute flight. But his response, I'm not comfortable with that. The Broadmoor was great. They treated us to a really nice lunch. But eventually, we got on a replacement helicopter, finished our mission down to Monte Vista. And as I was talking to the woman from the governor's office who was sitting next to me, I was asking her what she'd heard. She had been on the headset. I wasn't on a headset. She was able to hear the crew communications. And she said she didn't understand a lot of the radio transmissions or a lot of the talk, but she did recall hearing one of the pilots saying to the other, just fly the aircraft. Just fly the aircraft. We learned later that the pilot that had been flying over Colorado Springs had sensed some irregularity in the flight control system. It's electronic on the Black Hawk. We were about just minutes from going into the mountains, and they made the decision to go ahead and do a quick emergency landing because a flight control malfunction just isn't something to be toyed with. It's a great crew. So I'm still not a fan of helicopters. I haven't been in one since then, but I sure learned a lot that day. One was about leadership and the importance of being honest and maybe shutting down a golf course for a while in order to ensure the safety of the passengers. I sure appreciated that. And the second was the importance of purpose. In that few seconds, the calming sound of just fly the aircraft, just fly the aircraft, and then the safe landing kind of reminded me of the importance of purpose in everything we do. Are you willing to say, I'm not comfortable with that? Have you found the purpose?